I pay more than what I pay if I go and come every day. You check out Octopus. Octopus started giving incentive to people who take the Octopus card some 10 years back, right? 10, 12 years back. And even today they give incentive. So if you travel, you go and take a ticket, it costs you more. And that is the incentive that people start liking. In India, the thinking has to change. It has to be that if you take a prepaid card or take a card like that, whatever, transit, prepaid, whatever, it's better for the entity to manage things and therefore you give them cheaper. Why does the ceiling cost me 2,200 or 2,500 bucks if I take a card? They don't have anything else. They don't have any other option. Yes, that card entitles me to go several times up and down. Now, who goes several times up and down? Okay, it's the tourist operators which constitute what, 1% of all the people who go in. But I've been asking them the question, why are you giving me at a costlier rate when I'm giving you the money upfront? And I'm guaranteeing you the spend for a whole month. The Octopus doesn't even guarantee for the whole month. They say you can carry forward how much ever time you want. So you just put in money and you can use it for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, till it gets exhausted, you add in more money and you start using it. So that is, the use case is one which I think is there prevalent. The railways, how many shops are there in the railways? Everybody eats there. Okay. If you tell them that you will get a 5% discount, and Indians are very price sensitive, believe me, if you tell them 5% discount, people will buy that card. And then that card will be so useful to be used anywhere in the shops that they eat or any other places. For example, if you buy a bottle of water in Hong Kong, it's some 6.75 or something. Now, if somebody has to take out 6.75 from his pocket, count it or give a 10 rupee note and take back the change, it takes some amount of time. Now there they ask, are you paying by Octopus, and they press one button. And what do? You take out a wallet and just stick it and put it back. Done. Seconds. Now this kind of convenience is possible in India also, but the thinking has to change. The thinking has to be that, yes, if you want something to progress, first you have to give them incentive to do it, and then pass on the benefit of upfront payment. Sure. Because you're going to keep a float with that company, right? Whatever 100 rupees or 500 rupees or 1,000 rupees, you give them the benefit. That concept has still not come.
You would like to add something there?
No, I agree with him because what example that you gave for Octopus is rightly said that they've tapped the daily need that you have to transit in any case, correct? But not at a costlier price. What he said is right, that even if I'm buying a monthly pass, you can't ask me to pay more. You should incentivize me to pay more. Even if I'm paying more, I should get additional credit of 20 days, for example, if you don't want to incentivize me for a money part. But one is, like you said, that there's no successful case study for such kind. So that can be made if we understand from consumer perspective also, that it can't be just at merchant's own term. It has to be consumer friendly so that consumer adopts it. He doesn't want to adopt a new technology just because it's a new technology and it costs more. It has to be convenient for him. It has to be somewhere. He has to look at it from a commercial perspective also. It should be incentivizing him to use that technology, so the adoption can be more and more, and then only we can create some successful case study that this has worked well in our country. Yeah?
Sorry, you had a question, yeah. We'll have the last couple of questions and then we'll have some closing
Sure. My name is Gaurav Zutshi. I'm an independent payment consultant and an angel investor in fintech space. I'll just like to make a comment because what happened in the last question, I have some perspective on it. I used to be Avijit's colleague at Visa and I launched the first contactless in Malaysia in 2006 anywhere in the world. So the example which you said about transit proliferating contactless use or making it habit forming, there is causality and correlation there. But everybody hasn't been as successful as Octopus. I live in Singapore, I've been living there for 15 years. So EasyLink, which is the Octopus equivalent in Singapore, tried to get into retail payments. And now all they do is taxi and some small fines in the government library, the National Library Board. So I think it's a conscious decision for the payment operator for the transit to get into retail acceptance. So if what you said about Hong Kong, the merchants have two terminals. One is a Visa, MasterCard, JCB, Diners, CUP, and one's an Octopus terminal. So there's a capex involved. Hong Kong is not as big as India. So if you said that DMRC or the Reliance Metro has to put another terminal which is proprietary on that MyFare compared to Visa, there's again the who's going to write that check. So I believe it's habit forming, but it's not like ubiquitous. But the good thing that's happened in UK, if you want to look at the international experiences, Visa and MasterCard now on their contactless card can be used as a fare ticket directly in the TfL, the Transit for London. So without buying a Oyster card, and that they calculate all the benefits. That means if you've spent beyond £7, you don't have to pay £8. It's the daily ticket. It automatically calculates it, all those good stuff. So that's a long kind of comment. The question was for Jitendra. I think you're the most aggrieved lot on this panel, and that's why you've had so many asks for the ecosystem. I need this, I need that. So I believe these people will pay heed to it. So a very direct question to you. You said that every day you'll have a MobiKwik or a Paytm or a PayU come and say, integrate with us. I have 10, 20, 100 million customers. And obviously there's a demand side from them, and you'll integrate, right? So maybe they'll sign you up for a zero MDR because they are in a valuation game. But at the end of the day, they are an extra layer on top of the Visa card. So that if 80% of all load is coming from Visa and their cost as a merchant is still 1.8%, so they're absorbing it for a while and they'll reprice you.
Correct.
So are you prepared for the reprice, and how do you negotiate future reprices on wallets?
We are prepared for shutting them off.
Thank you.
Consumer drives it. They have the consumer base because they have these monies, investments currently, and they are giving cashbacks, and that's why they have consumer. Correct. As long as if they want to today, if as a merchant, if we have to count, we will have respect for Master, Visa, and RuPay or MX. But these wallets, if God forbid they become bigger than these switches, which I don't think that they would be, but and MDR plays a big role in our, because we are a retail and where the cash rotates, like I said, 65 to 70% is the cash chunk. So, and the margins are very less in our business. So, and that percentage counts a lot. Yeah. So, we would be ready to shut them off. Or else when you said IMPS becomes a format. IMPS is a fantastic option for our country. And nobody is giving you that option to do IMPS at merchant. No.
Yeah, exactly. So one last question. I think there was a lady there. She had a question. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Priyanka from Oberthur. I don't have that exposure on this topic, but it sounds very interesting to me. And just now, as you said about this octopus success story. So as far as I know, you asked a question, isn't it a need here in India? So being a consumer, I say yes, there is a need. And the challenge which I can see is that nowadays a lot of regulating bodies are talking about this common mobility card, but for that we need to, there are a lot of challenges, like my card, which is a Mumbai Metro card, will not work at Delhi Metro. The same card will not work at the red bus service or maybe the local metro service. So we need to have a synergy between the banking industry, then the transport industry, and we all need to, give away that proprietary specs. We all have to have a common specs which, everybody is ready to accept, and so that the same card or maybe same technology can be used everywhere. So first of all, we need to have that kind of an, willingness to be ready to accept the open forum, so that, I don't have to really depend on my technology. No, I'm not going to use this card in Mumbai. This card belongs to Chennai Metro. So for that, I think so we need to really work very, very closely with the transportation company, banking industries, the solution provider, everybody. So this is what I think on this whole topic. And also I have been hearing, whether the infrastructure is ready. Yes or no? Are it is very easy to, issue a contactless card. Just tap and go and your transaction is through. So my question is, who will take the responsibility? I have said, no, it is not my responsibility. I need to have an ecosystem. I need to have retailers who are ready to accept this kind of POS, who are, ready to use the NFC program. So in that case, it is not only bank's responsibility, it is equivalent responsibility of us being a service provider, solution provider, aggregator, moderator, everybody. We all need to work together as in a synergy. We have to educate the banks and the transportation company, everybody, so that, we have that kind of vision which we are thinking and discussing here. So we can educate them as well. Then only I think so there is a success. It's not that I will, take my hands off by saying there is no technology available and who will work on the infrastructure. I think so we are equally responsible and we need to be a part of it.
Thank you.
All right.
Right, so I think let's try to summarize. Harish has been telling me that everybody is waiting for lunch. So one more speaker too? Okay. So let's try to wind this down. So I think interesting discussion and some interesting questions from the audience here. What seems to be emerging very clearly is that we need to think consumer first and innovation later. We need to figure out really where the need gaps lie at the consumer level. I think there's just too much noise created in the market by people looking at innovation which is not necessarily following any specific need gap in the market. Like Devi was saying, that I'm ready to shut down the wallets, I don't need them, right? Because today they are just discounting me and ready to get there, come and take a piece of the share, but is there a sustainable business model behind it? Everybody has a doubt behind that. So if there is no sustainable business model tomorrow when a repricing happens, what do I do? So I think getting that understanding of the consumer need, the real user need, and not necessarily the user demand. Because user may be demanding today because of the fact that you are incentivizing him like crazy, but that is short-lived. The user need rather than demand is very, very important. The second aspect that seems to be emerging very clearly is that there is a fair amount of stuff that's available in the market. Meaning, banking systems are there. You don't need to necessarily innovate by creating another token, another brand out there. The banking systems are there. There are transactional systems available to move money from one bank account to the other. Build your services on top of that. You can build a very nice, rich suite of services on top of that, whether it is remittances, whether it is payments, whether it is, what have you. So it's not as if those things are not available. We can use those. And third thing that seems to be emerging very clearly out of this is the fact that this whole area of seeing how you can flip the payment from somebody pulling the money in to somebody pushing the money out. I think that's very interesting. Actually, as users, you might be already doing that when you do net banking. When you do net banking transactions online, you may feel it is yet another payment option, but it's fundamentally a very different payment option because it actually pushes money rather than pulls money. And it's interesting to note that in many of the, for example, in travel, in IRCTC, etc., net banking constitutes actually the majority portion rather than the credit debit transactions. So again, innovating around that. There's very little innovation that seems to happen around push payments, though they are safer and cheaper and better than pull payments. So that seems to be the whole discussion here. There are of course things that the government is already doing, and that's a welcome movement. So thank you very much. I'd like to thank all the panelists for engaging discussion.
Thank you.